Now let's see if this is working here. This is waiting to stream here. Hold on. What is going on? Let's take a look here. YouTube live. Let's see if that comes up. Here, YouTube. Okay, so we're live here, not live there. Live. Okay, so okay, so I'm getting this figured out here. I don't know. Okay, so we're live here, not live there. Live. Okay, so okay, so all right, guys. So try logging into youtube.com. See, bubblehead. I don't know why it's having so much trouble getting in here, guys. I apologize. I apologize, but let's see if we're getting this. We're getting this working here. Let me try to get this here. All right, so we got a bunch of stuff there. Sorry, guys, we're trying to copy everybody's stuff over so you don't have to retype it in. So 1 second. The connection's a little bit weird here. There's some issues with the issues with the broadcaster. Issues with the broadcaster here today, but it's or recently. So, but it seems to be working now. So let me make sure everybody's coming in here. 1 second. Okay, so yeah, so we are live. Yep, so definitely live. Yep, this link is working here. All right, hopefully this will work a little bit better next time. They really changed things around with the broadcaster here, which made it a little bit different. So hopefully it's working here for everybody. So we got a few people coming in here. So so far so good. So all right. So we are live. So let me we are live. So good. All right. So really appreciate everybody for your patience here while this whole YouTube broadcaster thing has been working out. I was with tech support all day today and trying to get it worked out. And I finally got it connected, but it's not connecting the same way it was. So I tried to create a stream and and that didn't go through. So had to redo it over here. So so really appreciate everybody. So it should be okay. So it is actually broadcasting on YouTube now. So so we've got that going. So hold on 1 second here. So. All right, so that's working there. All right, so that should be good. All right, good stuff, guys. All right, so appreciate everybody's patience right here as we get started. So today we're going to be continuing our discussion for the first time in a while on YouTube, and today we're going to be talking about continuing our conversation on day trading RSI tricks with moving averages. So so good stuff there. Before we get started, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. And I tried to copy everybody's stuff over that came from the other stream, which is kind of weird that didn't go through. But anyway, good stuff. So so here we go. So so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look and see where we left off in the market here today. Let's see, that should be coming through fine. Yep, no, it's live. It's live. It's live. So that link works. That link is working. Okay. So so good stuff. All right, good. Everybody was able to find the link there. That's good. All right, so we're gonna take a look and see where we left off with the market, and then we are going to take a look at the futures and see what we have in store for tomorrow, and then we'll go over the topic, and then we'll take a look at questions and chart requests. So good stuff. So let's get started. So let's take a look at the SPX here and see how it behaved here today. Yeah, it was a weird stream. It was a weird stream issue. Good, yeah. So All right, so SPX was working on a bearish engulfing month, but we still have some time left in the month here. We've got 3 trading days left this week, 3 trading days left next week. So let's see if they try to push it back up here. We're up 34 points today. Weekly chart turned into a weekly hammer, so they filled the gap here on the weekly chart, which is pretty cool. And we are over the Cloud Canyon, right? That kind of got all this this volatility started here on the in the market. So good stuff there, and we'll see how it holds right here. It's kind of an interesting day today because it was a nice up move out of the cloud. But if you go to the SPY, one of the things that you can see here is that we had a nice push up today, but on decreasing volume. So a little bit interesting on that one. We'll see how that holds going into tomorrow, right? So it's kind of it was kind of a weak bounce here today. So we already have the ADMA crossing over right here. So let's see if it continues to project its way down to the bottom of the cloud based on the symmetry of the first down move. So we'll see how that goes here. And then what we have in store for tomorrow. So it could be interesting. So let's go back to the SPX and take a look at the intraday price action. So we could see here. We had a gap up this morning, so it was looking good, and then there was a few short opportunities, right? We broke the 15-hour below here this morning, and they bought the dip, and then we finally filled the closing gap. We filled the open gap right here initially, and then we filled the closing gap, and then it couldn't hold it any, it didn't want to push down any longer, and then we started to work our way back up, and we drifted up today. So pretty cool stuff there. These are the levels that we provide to our members before each market opens, so you can see how valuable these are. Again, our volumetric levels didn't even get tested here today, and once we broke over and filled these prior gaps, we had a nice push up here over the R1 level, and we finally got and filled a closing gap above till we rejected that there today. So cool stuff there. Make sure everything's looking okay here. Yep, so everything seems to be coming through on the stream. So good stuff there. Just making sure everything's coming through. Okay, guys. So, all right, good. So let's take a look at the S&P futures and see how they behave today. So very, very similar, obviously. But we get a lot more data off of the S&P futures because they trade 24 hours, and they give us some key levels to work with, right? So one of the key levels, of course, here today was this. We use our signal zones right here, which are supply and demand zones, and you can see how important this area was right here. This is a drop-based drop area. It was retested, so that proved the validity of that area, and we came back down right into yesterday. Had some crazy whipsaw action. We had that big move up at the end of the day, right? And then we had some crazy overnight action today. So today was pretty neat, right? There was basically some fresh, levels right here. These were obviously very important here, right? So this formed a nice zone right here as well for a dip buy today. And what we were kind of thinking was going to happen today was the Powell flush, right? So he had his meeting on Capitol Hill at about 10:30, and it wasn't right as soon as he started, right? It's kind of funny. You have to envision it like when he's not, giving public speeches, he's hitting the buy button, right? But when he's away from the desk, right, the market can do whatever it wants to, which it goes down right there. And he got done at about 11 o'clock, and then they started buying again. And it's kind of funny how that worked out. So we actually expected that today. That's been the pattern of when Powell talks. And it just happened to be off of this signal zone right here. We originally dropped off of the upper shadows here today. We know another upper shadow right here that worked our way to the downside. Again, we found this congestion zone right here, which turned into a rally zone, and we bounced off to. We didn't draw that in the morning because it was it didn't quite, it wasn't quite necessarily in play yet, and so but it definitely came into play here during the day. Bounced off of that, worked away. Once we finally got above the signal zone with some power, right, we had upper shadows off of here. We had a nice push right here with some increasing volume, and then we worked our way back up nicely. We had a bull flag, and we finally tested that prior. We got to test the scene of the breakdown from earlier here, that prior signal zone, and we rejected that. So right now we're up about a quarter here after hours, and so we just kind of have to see how these levels again continue to hold. So we're going to be tracking those throughout the evening and see where we end up with those in the morning. So we'll see how that goes right there. So kind of triangulating right here into the evening session, and we'll see what they have in store, if they can push out of this triangle right here and give a push up to retest those zones. And if of course if they break down this geometric line, we've got a couple other areas below which could be of interest. So we'll see where we end up tomorrow and what they have in store for us then. So good stuff. So today we're going to be continuing our conversation on day trading RSI tricks, and today we're going to be talking about moving averages. So it's kind of cool. Sometimes we can overlay moving averages over the RSI to kind of give us some clues, right? So let's take a look at the SPY here and see how it's behaving here. So SPY. Let's get the RSI up here on the 5-minute chart. So edit studies. Let's add the RSI. And so let's take a look here and just kind of see what it gave us here today. So we did have a bearish divergence right at the close, right? So we had a move up. This is what we talked about yesterday. Move up, and then we had a lower high here. and so that actually led to a nice down move into the end of the day, right? So a nice flush there at the end of the day. So good stuff there. Now, we did see some nice action here on the RSI. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a moving average up here. Let's just use the ADMA on this one. So exponential moving average, and let's go with the ADMA because it's one of our favorites. So let's get up here. Okay, so we can kind of take a look at the price action, right? And really what we want to see is which is more sensitive, right? So a lot of times they move together, but sometimes, right? So you can see right here we had a dip right here that was after the dip in the RSI, right? And then things started to work their way up. So it would be kind of neat if we could combine these, right? So one of the tools that we can use is we can actually put the exponential moving average and embed it over the RSI. And all you have to do is go to Edit Studies, and you can move the exponential moving average down, and then apply it here into this range, right? So it's kind of neat how it does this, right? So one of the tools that we could look at is when the RSI actually crosses over, right, these moving averages to look for some potential setups, right? So pretty nice stuff right here. So what we could see here is that the RSI, once we were dropping right here, we had the exponential moving average, and we had a crossover here through the 8 EMA. At 10:35, and that actually led to a nice move down in the market, right? So you see the RSI right here. If we actually change the color of the RSI to like a thick green color, right, we can kind of see how that looks right there, right? So the RSI actually led the way down. We had a crossover right here early through the exponential moving average, and that gave a nice move down as well, right? We had a crossover back up here through the exponential moving average, and that gave a move up. We crossed down right here, and that led to a move down. We got a nice U-turn off of these levels right here. Then we had a crossover back up, and then here they barely even touched, right? So that was kind of just a magnetic turn right here. We had a crossover right here. That gave a little bit of down moves. It was kind of choppy, but you can see how flat the moving average was. It wasn't really moving directionally either. And then we pushed back through it here to give a move up into the end of the day. So it is kind of a cool tool to combine these, and you can kind of see a couple nice moves right here. We had this from yesterday, right? So once they were both in the oversold area on SPY, we got a nice crossover right here to give a nice move up, and finally we were above it all day, and that just kind of basically just kept the bullishness as the space between the two got bigger, right? And so a couple other moves right here, right? We tried to break above the exponential moving average with this one, but it couldn't move. It stayed under it. Gave you two tops right here, a double top off of that, and then that pushed its way back down too nicely, and then we had an RSI crossover here, which ultimately worked its way back up pretty decently. So it requires some refining and some playing around with it, to kind of see how it behaves. But it is a cool tool to be able to actually embed the RSI over a moving average and look at how they interact with each other. So it's just a kind of a cool trick that you can use and with your RSI. So hopefully you guys found that helpful. And at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can and try to wrap up as early as possible so we can have another awesome trading day tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead and clear the chart off right here, and definitely a cool tool to work with. And so at this point, let's go through and see what we got going on. So I copied a few over from earlier. Hopefully everybody was able to make the switch over to this live stream. I don't know why it was why the other stream didn't kind of embed in this one. It's still a little bit tricky getting this broadcaster figured out. I had to re-update it. I had to talk to customer service today and go through all that, or go through technical support today. And it looks like we're getting closer. So let's see how it goes a little bit later to see if we can give so you can keep things going for us. So good stuff. So Shirley's sending a few in via email. We got a few in here from YouTube as well. So again, appreciate everybody for keeping Shirley in your thoughts and prayers as she gets better every day. So D-Dog. So this is actually a really nice move right here. So I'm going to put this on the bullish radar right away. I love the breakout move on this one. I love how software still had a little bit of weakness. Some of it pulled back here today, but there were some names that had some pretty good strength on it. So let's get D-Dog on here. And 1 second for Wednesday. And so we got D-Dog there for a potential bullish moves. Why do we like D-Dog? Well, we like the increasing volume. We like that it broke out of this range right here. And I believe we even closed over this over here tonight. Yep, we closed over this this candle right here. So that's good, right? So that's a good potential to come up and test this top pivot here at 96. So D-Dog is definitely a good one to keep an eye on. Nice find on that one, Shirley. So what else? So a couple other names too. CRWD, right? There was another name too that got some strength from yesterday. Good candle yesterday, decreasing volume, but did get follow through even with the declining volume. So a little bit of caution there on that one. Pins. What a great one here today. This is a huge breakout candle today on pins. Let's see if it gets some follow through into tomorrow. So that was a beautiful breakout candle right there. Fresh all-time highs. Let's see if they can continue to push that one through those highs and see where we go from there. NVTA. NVTA with a nice push up there as well. So we kind of drifted down a little bit here with volume, but it did close over these levels and gave you a fresh high on those. So let's see if that can get some follow through as well. Plan. Let's take a look at Plan. Okay, so Anaplan looking good, not as good as the other ones. Right? It's a little bit trickier to trade with options. But I like how it broke out of this geometric level right here. There is kind of like an invisible flag pattern right here, so it may be kind of breaking out of this flag. So let's see if that can get some continued upside on that one. Great charts. ZK, what's going on? We got a couple in there as well, so let's take a look at Twitter. Yeah, so Twitter was great. We pointed this out in the group this morning. Really nice move. Inside day up today. You just got to love it, right? So when you gap over an inside day and it continues to push, right, especially over these geometric levels, you just got to love it. We've been keeping an eye on Twitter for a while. It's given us some nice morning trades, right, some good pushes at the open, but today finally got some follow-through on Twitter, which was nice. Piton, let's take a look. And Piton with a big inside day today, but still kind of hanging in there. It's down a little bit, but it's still holding the 80 MA on that one. So see how it holds those inside day levels going into tomorrow. And then Lulu, let's take a look. Lulu with a big move on that one. Not quite a Morningstar reversal because this real body was in this real body range right here, and we did gap up on this one. So it's basically coming back up into the chop zone. They're trying, right? They put some volume into it today. Let's see if it can get and tag the cloud there before it makes any other moves. So good stuff there on Lulu. It's up a little bit after hours too. It's up quite a bit after hours, so give a nice spike up there as well. So nice triangle off of that one too. Yeah, so let's see if Lulu can get some nice follow through tomorrow. Krishna, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Let's take a look at FedEx. Hopefully you're able to make the switch over to this channel. So FedEx with a hammer, right, from yesterday, and right at the 8 MA, so that's what we said. It's got a hold right here, and then it gave a nice push up there to fill the gap today. So good move on FedEx. And SE, let's take a look. SE, look at that. So still working on the channel, right? So got really, really tight right here and maybe starting to make a move, right? So it had some good volume there as well. I like how it's back over the 80 MA on that one. Great stuff. Good. And Alma, really appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully you're able to make the switch over to this channel here. So Walmart with an inside day up today. So let's see if that can continue to push on that one. Again, it's become a drama name with the TikTok stuff, but still a decent candle today. And Amazon, just one of the strongest names on the big names, or the highest weighted names on the Dow, right? So kind of like a falling wedge right here, nice breakout right here, increased volume. Let's see if we continue to push. So the reason I have a box around this right here is because that is a trend box break, right? Because it only recently started to make a trend change to the downside, right? It shifted its trend down. So now we have to see if this is actually legitimately going to try to make a trend shift up, or if it's just a corrective move, right? So this could be just like at this point here, this could be like a wave 1 down, right? And this could be working on like a wave 2, so we may see some chop, and then we'll see if it works its way back down from there. Or if it decides to break above this, then this could have been just the corrective wave. This could have been a zigzag right here, and then we're working our way back up again. So we gotta just see how it plays out on that one. So kind of interesting here today, but it was an all-star today. So Kwaku, what's going on? So we've got gold. I hope you're able to make the switch over to this channel right here. I really appreciate you making it in and finding us. So gold inside day today, still holding the cloud on that one. So let's see if that can gain some strength above those levels going into tomorrow. And then VIR, big inside day on this one. Kind of looking tricky right here. Right, so it's right at its 200-day. I mean, it looks almost bear flaggish. So let's just kind of see how it holds this range in here, and if it decides to break out one way or the other. So good stuff. And then Mike, hopefully you're able to make the switch over to this channel too. I really appreciate you guys bearing with us this week, as we did a recording this week. We're on Periscope yesterday. I was able to find out a way to download a Periscope video, posted it back to YouTube, and it looks like we're getting a little bit closer to getting these things working right here. I tried to schedule the thing so I could then jump on the stream through the broadcaster, but it didn't seem to like it when I went live. So I think it made a random one. And anyway, so we're getting through the kinks right here. It was I think it all came down to an upgrade in the broadcaster. But what was interesting though is that normally as a backup I can run through YouTube on Zoom, and Zoom wasn't working either. So that was kind of weird too. So anyway, good stuff. So ZEK, we got your stuff, so really appreciate you. Chuck, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. VRM. So VRM, wow, yeah, big move on this one today. Again, that was a huge sympathy move with Carvana, right? So just a great move on that one. Of course, Goldman Sachs upgraded, gave a nice move to these car delivery type names. So good stuff there. Good volume on this one, and of course, CVNA. Was a huge gap up this morning and gave a really good push right here. Couldn't quite get over these highs, but it also a good intraday push here this morning. A pullback to the 15-hour high and then a move up there. So pretty impressive gap up on Carvana. It's amazing seeing Carvana at like $200. It's actually really tough to trade on the options today. The spreads were crazy, because I'm used to seeing this thing down in like the low tens, right? So I mean, kind of amazing stuff right there. But anyway, good stuff. Thanks, Chuck. Angel, what's going on? You made it from Twitter. Really appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you. Michael, what's going on? We're back in business. Finally back on YouTube. So Elon wasn't lying. I know exactly. So let's take a look at Tesla and see how it's behaving here after hours. So we had an inside day today on Tesla, and then he's just like, no, yeah, blah blah blah. So he didn't really help the whole situation after hours. So it's good as props battery to remain off in the future. So yeah, so back to the future for Tesla. So maybe if they can reach 88 miles an hour with enough plutonium, they can get there. So we'll see where it goes, or enough battery power. They'll make their own flux capacitor for that one. So we'll see how that goes. So good stuff. And SPY trendline breakthrough or breakdown tomorrow. Exactly. Key area for SPY here, right? So we're basically channeling down. Right, so from these levels right here, so we got this going on and this going on, right? So we're definitely, not necessarily the full trend hasn't changed yet, but there's definitely a change in composure. We are in the trend box, and this is right now a corrective wave until it proves otherwise, right? Unless it wants to prove it's an impulsive wave. So right now we're just kind of trading it as it goes, So good stuff there. Really good. And Carvana was amazing. We just looked at that one. Love the inverse head and shoulder breakout on SPY. Oh yeah, we like that one too. So stocked it all day. Exactly, that was the way to go. So we were watching it in the group today too. So yeah, this if we actually go to the shorter term time frame, you can kind of see it a little bit better right here. It was we had this going on, right? So you had your shoulder, your head, your shoulder, breakout, right? And then we got a bull flag right here for a nice move. Right, tag the bottom of the bull flag, right, and then worked its way back up nicely into the end of the day. So pretty cool stuff. And then it reversed off of that the bearish divergence on the RSI. So cool stuff there too. Liam, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. So let's check out today's moves in Tesla. Yeah, so obviously after hours kind of is what it is, but let's take a look at Tesla. It was pretty wild yesterday. Right, yesterday gave really like an epic dip buy today. Yeah, epic dip buy yesterday. Right, so this corresponded with some larger time frame type moves. Right, if you go to the hourly chart yesterday, it held some key levels right here and here. So it did give a move off of that, and that's what helps to look at the multiple time frames. So we got a nice V bounce off of that one yesterday. Big push down after that area right there, and it kind of turned into like a kind of a daily bearish type flag, until after hours. But today's price action, right, was really just a lot of back and forth. It was a really, really choppy day, right? It ended up basically finishing the day with a triangle, right? So they tried to break out of that triangle after hours. Everything was looking good on battery day, and then Elon stepped up, broke down out of the triangle, retested the middle of the triangle, and then it flushed here after hours. So pretty wild stuff on that one. So Michael, yeah, so GME, let's take a look. So GME, I can't believe this thing's over $10 again, right? So I mean, it's just amazing, right? But had an epic move up recently, right? Had a big move up here after earnings, right? So it dropped down and then kind of rallied again. And then there's like there's an investor coming in on this one here today. It was who's the big Cohen, right, or GameStop rivaling Amazon's long term. So it's amazing. This one really baffles me. Like, I can't even believe this company is still in business. This company reminds me so much of Blockbuster, before Netflix came out, right? It's like, I mean, guys, like, nobody buys games anymore, right? So it's you can order stuff. If there's a console, you can order it on Amazon, and if there's a game that and you're playing on Steam or whatever the case is, you download it, right? And most of the consoles themselves, you can download it too. So it's interesting to see this in business, but and I don't know why an activist would get involved in this store, but anyway, it is what it is. Gave a nice gap up there today. Let's take a look how it behaved pre-market. It basically just couldn't get over any of the pre-market levels today, so would have expected a bigger reversal off of it, but they kind of held it up a little bit there today. So we'll see how that goes. But nice stuff on GME, and then Workhorse, yeah, Rutro. So the stock that'll break your heart, right? So Workhorse. Yeah, we talked about it, guys, yesterday. We said watch out for this as a potential hanging man setup, right? I mean, just because the way Workhorse behaves, I can't believe it moved as high as it did right here without a pullback, and it finally gave that pullback right here. So it's right at the 80 right there. It's kind of pushing below it. I think it's down there a little bit after hours too, because if Tesla can't get the job done, Workhorse, we don't even know what they do. So so that's down as well after hours. So yeah, rut row, and then BBBY. Let's take a look. So BBBY. Yeah, wow, what a breakout in Bed Bath and Beyond today, if you could believe it. So, kind of starting like an earnings run type thing. Nice breakout over that geometric line here today. And wow, big push at the open, right? Nice pullback right here. Let's take a look at the Fibonacci is almost a 382 pullback from the lows, and then it held the 80 MA up for the rest of the day. Impressive breakout move on that one. Good stuff. I know, it's like, what? Craziness where these where the big money decides to park their money. So, anyway, interesting. Does anyone even go there? Anyway, so good stuff. So, again, I guess today was the day of weird retail going up. So good. So the next, yeah, so VRM, again, great move today, right? So these car delivery companies getting a nice kind of upgrade here today. So good green candle, a little bit of an upper shadow, so watch out for that one. Pins, beautiful, right? Just a perfect breakout candle right here through all these levels into all this congestion, right? Had a great move after earnings, right? And it took a while, so it gave one move right here, another pullback, kind of a sloppy pullback. Like, look how tight it got here out of this triangle, and then it gave a nice move on that one. So beautiful move on pins. NLS. Hanging in there, right? A little bit of a hammer there, so kind of jump off the lows on that one. And QCOM on the weekly. Let's take a look. So QCOM on the weekly. So yeah, so looking pretty interesting right here. Possible bull flag on the weekly chart, right? Let's see if we can continue to push its way back up here. Kind of low volume going in this way. QCOM's a really tricky one to trade. But again, also looking at a bear flag here, possibly an invisible bear flag with this, with the gap. So definitely keep an eye on those levels there. So good on QCOM. Let's see if that gives a breakout one way or the other. And what else? You with an IPO breakout. Let's take a look. Unity Software, guys. Wow. So it's amazing how some of these stocks even get to become an IPO, get to go public. I mean, I know it's a cool company, right? They make great maybe they're looking to get sold or something like that, but I know they're a great backbone to making games. But I mean, like, I read their profile before they went public, and it's like they lose money, right? So how do you even go public when you lose money? I mean, it's crazy stuff. But anyway, so good, yeah, nice breakout on that one. Good volume as it got over the IPO high, right? Those are, remember our IPO series, key level right there for it to break out of if you're stocking these things. And then Snow, another crazy IPO too, right? So double inside day so far. So wow, interesting on Snow right there, but definitely nasty down move off of that one. Christian, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Glad you could make it. So Neo, yeah, so we're definitely keeping an eye on this one right here. Behaved well today. Of course, down here with the battery news, right? But it's been contained within this triangle right here. We're just waiting for a breakout on this one to see how that goes. And then BA, speaking of triangles, not Neo BA. BA, speaking of triangles, we got this going on, right? So we're below the triangle right here. I mean, honestly, guys. Let's see how it holds. I mean, we could pretty much put a fresh triangle. If we come back into that range, we got to stretch the triangle out again. But up today, kind of some heavy price action today, right? So try to break out at the open. We pointed out the breakout in the live stream this morning. So it just was contained by our pre-market channels here, right? So bottom of the channel to the top of the channel, and then it gave us a big inside 15 and kind of worked its way back down. Then it chopped around there after hours. So let's see how it goes. Kind of a little bit of doji day today. So good stuff there. The Nest, yeah, Grug. So GRWG. Let's see how that's looking right there. Inside day on GWG, so you can give a push off of that one. And it's been pretty interesting recently. Michael Frog. Look at Frogger. Look at that. Woo! Big move. Finally got a little bit of pop of the IPO highs on that one. Inside day up. We talked about inside days after IPOs too, can be pretty powerful. Christian, yeah. So yeah, we do these every market night. We normally do these at 9:30. But I switched it up because it's been getting dark so early that 9:30 feels like, I don't know, like 1 in the morning, right? So I know it stings because a lot of our folks tune in on the West Coast, where 9:30 for me is 6:30 for them, so it's kind of a convenient time to do it. Yeah, so we'll be doing them now at 7:30 Eastern time going forward until possibly through the winter, right? So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so definitely tune in. Really appreciate it. If you're new here, definitely click subscribe on YouTube as well and hit the notification button, and make sure you check us out on Twitter too. So Michael Nicola, Get your popcorn. So yeah, so double inside day with a gap down. Inside day today. Again, just keep an eye on these levels here. If we can get above 30, we could see a potential gap fill to test that double inside day range, or it's just too much, guys. I mean, it's so funny. Like like there was like rumor that like the founder, after he quit, like that he got arrested like at the airport, right? And then and we'll see how, so that's pretty funny. And then today, like he like canceled his Twitter account. I mean, so shady. But we'll see where that goes. So yeah, definitely a drama name right now. Pretty wild stuff. Don't get caught in it in case it gets delisted. Like remember Luckin Coffee? So that was a pretty funny one too. So anyway, DPZ, the nest. I'm waiting for it. Haven't talked to you in a while. So yeah, DPZ. We haven't really talked about it since the breakout here over this range, right? And it gave a nice move right there, and then we're back in the range again, and it started to make a nice move again. But the volume is just kind of blah, right? So just to avoid the Noid, right? Perhaps it was the Noid who should have avoided me. Anyway, AZO, guys, nasty move on this one. Guys, this is just completely not tradable with options. Like, the spreads are crazy during the day. But it was an interesting move, right? It was up, and then they had some, like, some weird news. Upper shadows right here. I mean, guys, this stock is really not... I mean, it gives no volume, right? I mean, like, each 15-minute candle is, like, 4,000 shares. I mean, it's just such a weird name that it's, like, up in the thousands, and, like, it really doesn't get traded very much. It's just kind of funny stuff. But anyway, yeah, I know. It stinks about AZO with the down move on that one. But it did gap up. LVGO, over 140. Let's take a look. Yeah, so let's see if we can push right here. So the volume's really not quite there yet, but I do like the bounce right here. It's over the ADMA, so we got that going on. That's nice. BLK. Let's take a look. So BLK, inside day on BlackRock. Okay, so it is looking kind of interesting right here. We're below these levels. Could be working on a bit of a bear flag right here below the cloud. So just kind of see if it breaks down below those inside day lows. Might see a little more downside on that one, especially if the financials stay kind of weakish. And then Netties. So Netties with an inside day up there. So let's see if we give a push there. Just be careful with that one. China name. So we got that going. Chester, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Nike, Schnikes. Okay, yeah. So we definitely want to see what Nike's up to tomorrow. We gapped over the 120 level right here, and we're at 132 with an expected gap up. So that's a huge gap up here. We really want to pay attention to see how it holds these levels going into tomorrow. We might see a gap and go on Nike tomorrow. So definitely keep that on the radar. And then Beyond, Michael, yep. So Beyond gave another push today, but again, this is a tough one to trade, guys. We talked about it. It likes to go up and then blah, right? So it did it again, right? So it makes it really tough trading. Ryan, thanks for tuning in. Alex, SPY. Yeah, so SPY again, same stuff right here. We're a little bit worried. Why? Because this down move right here, just off of the last couple moves right here, was a 618. Off of the recent down move right here, and then a 382 off of this move. So you got a cluster zone here of some important Fibonacci's on a low volume bounce. So that's the only thing that's kind of worrying us going into tomorrow. But other than that, we'll see what kind of volume we get at the open and into tomorrow. So Suya, what's going on, Disney? Let's take a look. So we bounced off of the cloud yesterday. That's great. And then we're starting to push a little bit higher here today. We got a nice open gap above. Let's see if Disney can comply. This is the way. Jim, what's going on? NVIDIA. Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks, Jim, for tuning in. So NVIDIA, yeah, nice hammer right here over the ADMA. So let's see if this can give a push up right here off of that one, right? A little bit low volume on that one, but again, let's see if the semis can play along. So Netty stock split October 1st, of course. And so these days 510s over 485. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes on that one. I don't know. I wouldn't mess with Netties at all, but we could see if it gives a push on that one. And then Dow. Yeah. Dow with a, it's kind of consolidating down here. Broke out of the cloud pretty nicely. Let's see if this is turning into a bear flag, or if they're, just still kind of finishing it up before a markup on it. So good. And then, so Len, let's take a look. What's going on with Len? Yeah, so kind of doing pretty good right here. Fresh all-time high. I would like to see it close over these levels up here, over the prior highs. So it just, really I want to see it close strong, right? So I'd like to see it close at all-time highs with some good volume. So something to keep an eye on there. Umesh, what's going on? Going to see a ESTC. Let's take a look. So ESTC, daily chart, it's kind of hanging in there a little bit. Could be a pause day on this one. I had a decent candle yesterday, but really low volume on it, which makes it a little bit sketchy. So a little caution on there. It might be a hanging man on that one. Just a little bit of caution on that one. D-Dog, beautiful. Beautiful increased volume on this one. I love how it got over these levels. See if we get some more strength tomorrow and try to tag that pivot level above. Sue, what's going on? Thanks for making it. So let me show you here on the moving the RSI. So let's so I'll do it here with D-Dog. So what you do is you go studies and you add your studies. Here, let me pop this stuff up here. Hold on one second. Let's go to the 5-minute chart so you can see. And let me see if I can pull this up here in the broadcaster. Give me 1 second. So let me go studies. I'm going to pull up the study screen. Edit studies. So we got this. Add source. 1 second. It just takes a minute here. Edit studies. So there we go. So here's the study window. Okay. And what we do is we go ahead and we put the RSI in there. I have my RSI defaulted at 70-30. Right, because that's how we use our overbought, oversold levels, and then you just put an exponential moving average. You can do this in anything, right? I think you could even plug the VWAP in there, which would be pretty cool. But anyway, you put your exponential moving average. You can use any one you want. You can use the 5, whatever. You can back test it, see which one works for you. I was just using the 8 as an example, and just kind of pull this down here, right, with the arrow button, pull it down there. So now they're both in the lower study, right? And then now you can kind of see how they work, right? So here with RSI on DDOG today. Right, so you got to be careful. Sometimes you got to get more data in here so these things will line up, right? So it can kind of move around. You have to have kind of like a tricky study move, right? So that's one of the hardest parts about Thinkorswim is it doesn't hold as steady. You might have a little more luck if you're using like a TradingView or something like that. But what we see right here, right, is how RSI crossed above the exponential moving average right here. You just want to kind of keep it configured and set, to your levels. If you do like automatic, like sometimes it's a little bit better, right? So if you keep it on manual, like on this button right here, it shouldn't shift as much. It does shift sometimes because of the just because of the way Thinkorswim works, but a little bit more stable in TradingView. But you can see right here we had a nice. Sorry, this is how it goes right here. So nice crossover here for the RSI through the ADMA, and you can see that obviously led to a nice move up on that one. So yeah, so that's how to pull those up in there. So hopefully you guys found that helpful. Well, you got the embedded thing in there. Wow. Sorry, guys. Let me get that removed. Hopefully, you guys saw that. You got to see it twice. You got to see it overlap each other on that one. So, good fun here with the broadcaster. So good stuff. So good. So the next. Oh yeah, Roku. Sorry if I skipped over that one. So I didn't mean to. Roku. Let's take a look. Yeah, so Roku with a huge day yesterday, right? This is a big move. Normally with these type of days, we expect a pause day, like an inside day or something like that. And we were inside for a little bit. And then they popped it, right? So we had a nice pop up there. We'll see how it goes here in tomorrow. It's kind of a big candle for a pause day. But, if it wants to stay strong, right, Roku could give another good push off of that one. Otherwise, it may consolidate for a little bit there. So the best charter, please chart this great stock. I know, right? Please. I know, yeah, Roku's pretty wild. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Christian, yeah, JD, let's take a look. So JD, at the ADMA right there, possible hanging man, but if we push above the ADMA, right, maybe we'll get a little bit of move on JD. And AMD, AMD with a nice move, a little bit of a bounce off of the cloud right there, so we just kind of have to see how it holds. These are levels that this is one that we stock all the time, so those are levels we provide to our members. So it's kind of getting really tight right here with the moving averages. Just have to see if those semis are strong tomorrow, if we continue to make its move. I mean, we could be seeing like a little bit of a falling wedge type pattern. Just kind of have to keep an eye on it. Otherwise, if we lose these levels down here, we got this 2 open gaps below, which are pretty nasty. So Thinkorswim charting is free with a condition. You have to have an account with TD Ameritrade. Now, I believe you can open a free account with TD Ameritrade, but you need to check with them because I think if you have a margin account, you have to have a couple grand in there. But I think if you have a cash account, I think it can be 0, or maybe you need to have like a $50 balance. So, but I don't think they charge any fees on top of it. But either way, it's free to use once you have an account with them. So good stuff there. And Christian, what's going on? Yeah, so, good. We got a couple Christians here tonight. So good move right there. Yeah, so Facebook with a nice push here today. Definitely played catch up. It had some good volume with this hammer right here. Right off of that spinning top move and filled the gap from here. So we have a gap below, but let's see if Facebook can get some follow through on that one. So it's definitely an interesting one. So good stuff there. And DA, what's going on? Long time. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so we're finally getting things a little bit sorted here on the YouTube. It might take a couple days for me to get the hang of it to get this broadcaster back through. So, SE, we looked at this one earlier than S, but I think you tuned in a little bit. So this one's holding that channel, right? So decent volume today. Let's see if it gets a bounce off the channel. It's over the ADMA on that one. And then V. Yeah, so V, good move there today. So big inside day. Let's see if we can push above those levels. It's got a gap above there in the ADMA. So if it pushes above there, we might see a test of those levels above. And Liam, so smart to play long-term calls for Apple in anticipation for the iPhone release. That's way too far ahead for me. I'm sorry. I can kind of look at chart setups to see what's going on, for potential in the next day, and then we day trade it. But for me to be like, oh yes, due to the iPhone and the expected earnings flow of the company, I have no idea. I just don't trade like that. But so you got to find another channel for that one. But if you want to look at technical setups in the short term, that's what we look for here, so we could day trade them and get some good moves off of that. So good stuff there. But I really appreciate you for tuning in. So Costco ready to rumble. We got earnings coming up this week. Ready to rumble. Yeah, nice inside day up off of this one right here. It's coming up and testing that prior resistance level. So again, we'll see if it can get above there and give us a little bit more of a run into its earnings on that one. I mean, hopefully people are buying more expensive stuff, right? The last one through the Corona wasn't really good because everybody was just buying toilet paper, and so there's not a lot of markup in toilet paper. So they weren't selling a lot of their big box items, which had a little bit more margin in it, right? So we'll see how it goes, into these earnings. But I will say that no matter what, pandemic or no pandemic, their parking lot is always full. So we got that going on. So DANNOX, let's take a look. Woo! Yeah, shorts could get ripped on that one there, so kind of an interesting one. Not one that I would probably normally trade, but nice squeeze on that one here today. And the next, do you long calls or only J trades? Day trades primarily. I mean, occasionally we'll find a decent setup where we're looking for an overnight move or a 1 or 2 day move or something like that. But it's just really risky with the options, right? You don't want to get chopped up, and sometimes if you go too far out of the money, too expensive. I mean, we do have guys in our group that do post like some great trades. That look for some nice pullbacks and get a little bit further out of the money or further in the money and further out. Kind of move with a longer type trend. And again, a little more risk there, but those work, right? So anyway, good stuff. So D, in this climate, isn't it more safe to cash in and out every day? That's what I do. Everybody's a little bit different. We used to swing a little bit more back before the pandemic when everything was kind of trending. You could catch a nice little move and get a breakout and all that stuff. But right now, it's been really, really tricky. And in fact, right, the hardest part, right, with this is that we're trying to figure out what's going on, right? So I mean, even in here is a little bit easier, right? Because we're trending up, we're holding the 8-day. Now we're kind of below, right? We're kind of in this crazy move in the market. So we're just kind of evaluating it right now. I mean, it's to us, it's looking like a big impulsive move up here, and this looks like a corrective pattern, and it kind of is showing that here with the trend box, right? So, if you kind of go from the lows right here to the highs, right, we're at about a kind of a 236 off of that one, right? So, if you go to this pivot level right here, right, we're about a 382. So, I mean, there's a couple areas that could show that this is a corrective move, and we could start to work our way back up, but we still really want to kind of wait for some confirmation on that. So good. And the next, so the difference between NQ, SPX, and SPY. Well, the NQ obviously is Nasdaq futures, right? So that's going to be different altogether, right? So futures traded off of the Nasdaq market, or the Qs, or however you want to look at it. So I mean, there's divergences, right? Because there's a lot more stocks. Well, this is the Nasdaq 100, right? But there's a lot of heavy tech weighted stocks, right? And the S&P 500 has a lot of different sectors. It has tech in it, but there's other stuff too, like financials, oil, right, utilities, right, things like that, right? So sometimes there can be, and we've seen a lot of big divergences. A lot of time, most of the time, they go hand in hand. But we've seen recently over the last several months that the divergences have been really strong, and have actually been giving us some pretty good clues into some movement in the SPX too. Definitely now it's super duper important, especially intraday, because you can see the Nasdaq flushing, and if the SPX hasn't flushed yet, if you're at a key level, it might drag the SPX down. Right, so that's kind of a big deal. Now the SP, or the S&P futures. Now the SPX is the market, right? This is the cash market itself. The reason why we track the SPX a lot too is because back in the day, before volatility got crazy, trading SPX options were incredible, right? That was like our favorite stuff to trade. Now we trade a little more SPY because the spreads are a little bit better. Sometimes SPX gets a little bit crazy. Right, so but it's really good. You can kind of track it because the levels are good, and it gives you some good areas of interest. Some time, movement, some open gaps that are still good targets. But it does help. It does help to look at all of them, honestly. So Michael, the market makers are too shady to swing anymore, right? They changed the SPY close price on Thursday or Friday. Oh, I know exactly. It's just me there. Exactly. So Chester, PEIX looks interesting. Ethanol company, that could be interesting. Yeah, look at that thing. Woo! That was an epic move there from 50 cents to $8. Wow. impressive stuff there. Nice spinning top there today. Watch out for that one. Tracy, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. So Adobe, let's take a look. Good to see you. We're a little bit earlier these days. We're going to be starting at 7:30 through the winter months, as it's just 9:30 is just too dark. I mean, it's like getting dark at like 7 out there. It's like Anyway, so inside day up on Adobe. I like how it cleared a couple of those levels right there. A little low volume, but again, if software stays strong, keep an eye on Adobe, and of course Tesla with an inside day yesterday, right? So down after hours. Elon Musk not really helping out the whole situation with his battery day, so we got that going on. So we'll see how Tesla goes going into tomorrow. So it could be interesting. We might see a good push down tomorrow, unless somehow they could come up with some good news. But we might see an epic flush on that one. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. So anyway, good stuff, guys. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. It's been fun. Glad we're starting to get the YouTube thing working a little bit better here. I'm going to try to get it so when I actually broadcast, it goes to the right channel. It was a little weird how it didn't do that first thing. So, but I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you're new here, definitely click subscribe on YouTube. And whether you're new here or not, whether you're checking the recording, please hit the like button. It goes a long way. And be sure to check out the links in the description. So have a great night, everybody. And we'll catch you guys bright and early at the Good Morning Market Prep video. And stay healthy out there. And remember your risk first and stay safe.